Good evening. Welcome to Live by the Fire. Welcome in. Here, take this in and plug it into charge, okay? Yes, it's Rona's tablet. Welcome in. Live by the Fire. Just kind of hanging out. Burning off debris from cleaning up the yard, turning it into biochar. Also burning off various small pieces of dimensional lumber left over from various different projects. It's been a good while over on TikTok. Been running this fire for a few hours now. Uh, just kind of running it over there and playing music. Of course, they don't let you get away with playing music over here. Hello, Clipmaster. Hello. I'm going to say that's Nezuko. Welcome in. Oh, yeah. Figured I'd had enough of broadcasting on TikTok. Thought I might just hang out. I've got a little bit more to burn. No, I'm not camping. This is in my backyard, in my garden. I burn off a lot of trimmings and wood, and I turn it into biochar to add to my gardens, and this is how I do it. I just kind of hang out by a fire and burn it down, and at the end of the night, I put it out with a water hose and distribute it amongst the garden. Little by little, improving my soil. As a matter of fact, I was just about to go on another fire wood run. I've only got small stuff. I done burnt off all the big stuff earlier. So it's a little bit of a struggle keeping it going, but I still got a decent pile of small stuff, so I can build it back up a few more times. So I'm going to go grab some of that. So every little bit that I burn off, I get two products out of that help my garden. One is charcoal, which I later charge with compost teas, manures, whatever I happen to get my hands on at that time, or I make. And the other is ash, and ash is high in calcium and nitrogen. That also feeds the garden. So little by little, it all improves the soil. It makes a difference. Just a little bit here and a little bit there. In general, I'll run a fire most weekends during the cool season if I can. And it all adds up. 7 or 8 5-gallon buckets worth of biochar per year. Doesn't seem like a lot, but over time, it makes a big difference. I take my own biomass. This is trimmings from my own trees. And I also gather some biomass from the neighbors when they trim their stuff. They'll put it up to the road. And if it's something I like to burn, like oak, I'll grab some if I need it. And I burn it off and figure out where I'm going to put it next. Maybe around a fruit tree, maybe in a vegetable bed, maybe just out in the grass. I'll burn for a little bit. What I'm adding on to it right now is mulberry. From trimming up my mulberries about a month ago. It's decent enough. It works. Oh, little by little, this all just turns into charcoal and ash. And little by little, it feeds my gardens. And the soil on this particular plot of land was 99.999% sand. And, well, biochar is extremely good for water retention in sand. And it's made a huge difference. And this is how every bit of it has come. By me taking yard waste or dimensional lumber that are left over from projects, burning it off, and adding it to my beds. I input other things as well. It's not just biochar. Like right now, I'm just about done with a 5-gallon bucket of half composted chicken manure. Let's see, so far this year, I've put probably about 25 or 30 gallons of composted horse manure. Normally I've done at this time of year probably 40 wheelbarrows of mulch, but I didn't manage to get a thing of mulch this year. It happens. I do a lot of chop and drop. Matter of fact, half of what I'm burning right now is because I ran out of places to do chop and drop. That's why I'm burning. I need to burn a particular pile so that I can access a particular area. And that pile's mostly gone. And right behind it is another pile I need to burn. That one should actually have some pretty nice logs in it. Hey, David, nice to see you, bro. Just hanging by the fire, man. Making up biochar for the garden. One pile of yard debris at a time. What I'm presently burning is mostly mulberry. I had to trim up several of my mulberries quite severely for planting my vegetable beds, so I got to get rid of it. I don't really have anywhere to chop and drop it, and at that time, most of my pots were occupied with tomato plants, so I couldn't clone them. So, this is what's happening to it. Also burned off a variety of other things. It's a nice full moon night. Oh, there we go. Some of the small stuff is finally catching. Yep, full beaver moon. Interesting name for a moon. This will be the third night I've been out under the moon at night. Almost lit a fire last night and decided against it. Night before, I was actually outside for a large amount of the night, just working in the garden. I could see just fine with the full moon. So I got a bunch of work done out in the garden, mulch and pull weeds, and cleaned up stuff. I think I even, I planted a row of onions all under the moon. It was a pleasant night. Overall, not too bad. Planning on doing a halfway decent amount of burning this winter. With multiple hurricanes having passed through or nearby, there's a lot of debris just in my neighborhood all by itself. So I'll probably gather a halfway decent amount of that up, start running it wheelbarrow by wheelbarrow, and make biochar, improve my soil. So with any luck at all, I'll do a few fireside chats. We'll see how it goes. Right now, I'm actually running kind of low, but that's mostly because I've been running this since like 5:30.
Mom, what, Daddy?
Go to bed, little one.
I want to stay with you.
Go lay down on the couch and go to sleep.
When are you going to come back in?
Probably not too much longer, but go on.
Okay.
I've had my little ones hanging out here by the fire. I just sent the youngest in to go to bed because she's falling asleep in the chair. Yeah, I got a little bit more stuff to burn off. Got too much more. Been working my way through it, a little at a time. I saw a fairly large amount of oak down the road from me, and a couple wheelbarrows of that. That can become. Whew. No, that should take a moment, maybe two. Yeah, that should take at least a moment or two to burn down. We got a lot of small stuff that I can burn for a little bit. That was the last of the main pile I was working on getting rid of. Which is nice. Kind of nice to get rid of it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I hear all the sirens right now. Definitely a fire truck, an ambulance, and at least 4 police cars. Maybe more. Gotta love being inside of city limits. And a full moon, you know them people are busy right now. Yeah, I thought it might be good to get this burned off tonight, since we're supposed to have a lot of rain during the week. So if I can get rid of it now, then I can use it. And, I don't have to worry about it as much. I mean, I've really been wanting to clear up that spot. I chop and dropped a lot of stuff, and some of them spots are a bit too high. What's burning right now is stuff that wouldn't even fit over where I chose to do my chop and drop this year, which is a technique that I do is I concentrate my chop and drop. I don't actually just chop it and drop it where it's at. I'll go, okay, well, this spot could use some soil building. So I'll chop up a whole bunch of stuff as I'm pruning everything back for the season. And that's where I'll deposit it is in that bed or around that particular fruit tree. In this case, I dumped a lot around some banana trees and underneath a Mexican sunflower. Now, the Mexican sunflower doesn't need anything to make it grow better. It just kind of improves the soil overall. So I like to grow things up underneath it. The Mexican sunflower being a nitrogen fixer helps. So I dropped a lot of Mexican sunflower under the Mexican sunflower, around a banana tree, uh, basically in the whole back corner. I've done so much pruning. It's this year, the sheer amount of biomass I have is way more than I expected. But that's okay because it just goes back into the system. Oh, when I started on this lot, I had sand. It's still sand. It's just got actual soil mixed in with it, and compost and biochar. It's on a Florida standard very fertile, which causes a bit of a problem during the summer when the rains hit. Everything evasive goes nuts. Come fall, I cleaned it all back up and put it back into the system. Yeah, we'll see about the cooler. I mean, we got that cold front coming that's merging with hurricane or tropical storm Sarah. And we're supposed to get a lot of rain in this area Tuesday or Wednesday, which is great because I just put down a ton of seeds that I wanted to put down before the rain came through. So I should have all types of brassicas popping up real soon. Depending on how things go, I might run a fire next weekend. We'll see. There's the one guy down the road with a copious amount of oak. If I bring that down, that'll burn nice. And oak makes good charcoal to add to the system. Improving it a little at a time with the resources that are around me. You should get some in Alabama, depending on where you're at. They're talking about the storm merging with that cold front and basically pulling it across Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. So you should get a good amount of rain. As far as an actual cool down making it this far south, and you just never know. We just had a front move through 2 days ago. During the day, it hasn't really cooled down. It's much cooler at night. We're dealing with high 60s, low 70s, which is kind of comfortable for here. Close to Birmingham. Man, I got a lot of family in Birmingham or around Birmingham. I don't know if you'll get any that quite that far north. You should get some, but I don't know if it'll merge with Sarah early enough for Birmingham area to get it. It probably has some decent cool up in that area. Yeah, I got a lot of family up in that area. A lot of family in the Birmingham, greater Birmingham area. Not actually down in the Birmingham Valley, but close enough that they can drive there in less than an hour, depending on traffic, especially when going through Pell City. That's where my mother's family is originally from, is that area. So I spent a lot of time up there. There we go, another round. I wonder what color light the Vulcan is showing right now. 36 degrees. Man, we only get that in the coldest part of winter here. Yeah, be careful in Pell City. That entire town is nothing but a big speed trap. You're probably familiar with the Galleria Mall. When I was up there, I did a lot of work there. Oh, it's been a long time since I've been to Asheville. I really need to go on a trip up there, visit some family, cruise around the hills. I have a friend up there that has a blueberry, pick your own blueberry farm. Wouldn't mind being up there at the right time and getting some blueberries. I think that'd be fun to take my kids to. A pick your own blueberry farm. Just let them go to town on it. I know I did that with family a few times up there. Slowly getting rid of all the brush. Yeah, Asheville's nice. Been a while since I've been there. I used to go up there in the summer on a fairly regular basis. I haven't done that in a good while. Used to go to Birmingham, then up to North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee. I have a lot of family up in them hills. Apparently, I had a glitch there for a moment. Huh? Look at that. Yep. Spent a lot of time up there. Will again. Eventually. I haven't really traveled that much in like the last decade. At other things I've needed to do. But I do have quite a few friends up there I need to go see and family. No, I don't know Bald Rock Mountain. At least it's not ringing a bell. Oh, I spent a decent amount of time up at the what is that? Double Oak Mountain Amphitheater. I've been to Blowing Rock, Nakalula Falls. Oh, okay, that's the name of that mountain. Never knew the name of that mountain. Yeah, it is a nice view up there. Kind of why I want to go back up there. I want to take my kids up there to go see it. It might be a lost cause, so they might not appreciate it. I know I really didn't when I was younger, and my grandparents and stuff took me to a lot of them places. It was okay. When I was older and I went back, I enjoyed it more. Yeah, I've seen Nakalula Falls completely dry before. Man, I hope he gets some rain. That's not good. That's not good at all if Nakalula Falls is completely dry. That don't happen all that often. Usually at least a good amount of water. I mean, wow, you had that hurricane rip through there, dump all that water north of you. You'd think you would have got something out of it. Well, maybe that front will drop something. None of my cousins up there said anything about it being particularly dry, but you know, a lot of people don't go outside anymore. A lot of people that used to go outside, work in their yard, just stay inside. I'm not one of them people. I'm not really an inside person. Never really enjoyed just hanging out, except for when I was a kid inside. Where is that log at? There's something with a little bit of size to it. It's just burning. See, I have a whole peach tree chopped up behind the camera. I can always add that, but I really intend on cooking on that. Peach is really good for smoking meat like chicken and pork. Although it's not too bad with beef. It's a lot better with chicken and pork. Oh, there we go. There's an actual log. Yeah. I hope you get some rain. I know I'm gonna. I saw the forecast. I have a 100% chance of rain sometime between Tuesday night and Wednesday. And it's always fun being in the greenhouse when it's raining. It's really loud in there. Yeah, I need to make my trip up there. Maybe I can pull it off next summer. I'm really not sure. It's been kind of difficult to travel, and I need to do a lot of work to my truck. I spent a good amount of time this week working on my truck. I fixed a variety of different things, but I still got a lot more I got to do. But it makes more sense for me to rehabilitate a 20-plus-year-old GMC Denali than it does to go buy a new truck. You know, I took a look. They're nice trucks. They're not that nice. The average truck in this area is going for about $120,000. And I saw ones up to 180,000. You're looking at relative base model trucks going at 80,000, and they're almost impossible to find. Everything is completely loaded, and they just want a fortune for it. I'm not willing to pay that type of money for a vehicle that I plan on working out of. That just makes zero sense to me whatsoever, to spend that kind of money on a vehicle. I don't know what them people are thinking, but it's a vehicle. For people like me, it's something to get you from point A to point B and to be able to work out of. I'm not paying housing costs for a truck full of things that are going to break, electronics that were outdated when they were made. You know, it's nice. It had a GPS. I looked at this one. It had this really nice GPS and all these screens and cameras and all this type of stuff. And you know what? I don't need any of that. What I need is a radio, air conditioner that blows really cold because this is Florida, a heater that I might run for 2 weeks out of the year. I need to have decent gas mileage. And that's about it. A good place to store, a real truck frame underneath it so that when I tow, I don't destroy it. I don't need no $140,000 truck to tow my boat over to launch it or tow my utility trailer. So what I've done is I got a 24-year-old top of the line truck that needs work. It's mechanically sound, mostly. Oh, I've redid the back brakes. I've redid the brake line for the rear brakes. I got to redo the rear brakes. I got to do other brake work on it. It had rust holes in the hood. I filled all of those. I've done some painting on it. A little bit here and a little bit there. Earlier today, I took my side grinder and I ground a little bit of rust out of the frame. I'll fill that. And once it's filled up, I'll paint it to protect it. There we go. Now I got the fire back, at least for a moment. It's all small stuff. Yeah, mosquito is definitely the state bird of Florida. Now I've got a great lemon tree. Might want to look into a breed called Ponderosa. Consistently gives me lemons larger than a softball. Well, David, you might be the furthest north of somebody I know that grows bananas. Do you know somebody in South Carolina that grows bananas? Man, she digs them up every year before the first frost, puts them in her basement, and then replants them after the next frost. How that woman does that amazes me. Not really sure how she does that. Fortunately, tonight the mosquitoes aren't too bad. I've only seen one the whole night. That's not too bad. You try to do this in early October, they'll carry you away. It's something else. We get clouds of mosquitoes here so thick out in the countryside that they can actually suck a cow dry in about 10 minutes. I don't see it very often. Used to happen a lot more before suburbia. As a matter of fact, this area that I'm in originally was called Mosquito County. But they didn't like that name. They broke Mosquito County up into 4 counties. Gave each of them a different name. Yeah, I could see that technique working. Oh, you got to remove it in the spring. See, every once in a while when I get a freeze here, it'll freeze all the way to the ground and then just come right back in the spring. If it even waits for spring. Because really, we get 2 to 3 weeks of cold-ish. And we might go below freezing late January to mid-February for like a week, and only at night. I've lost quite a few fruit trees over the years where we'll suddenly have a real cold snap. But in general, that doesn't happen all that often. When it does, it'll happen 2 or 3 years in a row, and then we won't see it again for a decade. One of the techniques that I was taught to do with bananas when a freeze was coming is to take old carpet or towels, old carpet being preferred, and to wrap it around the trunk. Pack the trunk, the base of the trunk with mulch, and then top it if you can, and then put something over the top. And then when the cold passes, remove that and it grows back most of the time. I really haven't used that technique in, I don't know, decade and a half, maybe 2 decades. It just doesn't get as cold here as it used to. And 10 years ago, we got like 3 years in a row where it got really cold here. The last few years, all I've really had to do is put up some Christmas lights around the tomatoes to keep them from freezing for a couple of nights and not even worry about the fruit trees. You see a little bit of burn on them, but not much. I think the most damage I've had on any of them was actually my avocado tree. That poor thing froze to the ground like 2 years in a row and came right back. Now it's a 15-foot tree. 7 years old now. So sometime between now and the next 7 or 8 years, it should start producing. Because that one's from seed, and they produce anywhere between 7 and 15 years. They take their time. I'm looking forward to it. The Florida avocado. It'll be unique to itself because it's from seed. Yeah, it's almost time for me to go in. I think I'm going to let that burn out. I don't know what time it is exactly. Feels like around 10, but I'm not really sure. And I'm pretty sure my phone's probably out of battery at this point, or getting close to it, since I did 2 hours on TikTok and I'm getting close to an hour here. So I'm going to wish everyone a good night. It's going to take me 10 or 15 minutes to get all this in order before I head in. So, good night, everyone. Oh, 9:16 Central, so 10:16 here. Yeah, yeah, it's time for me to shut everything down. That's definite. Thank you, David, for coming in and hanging out with me. It's much appreciated. You have a good night there.